Super Meat Boy was such an awesome, universally admired game, Team Meat was hard-pressed to figure out how the hell to follow it up. Most developers would probably try to stick to what made their first game successful, maybe broaden the appeal of their games, leading to weak titles and stagnation. Team Meat is not most developers. After releasing Super Meat Boy, one of the most successful indie games ever, they decided to go, nah, fuck that, and make something completely different. That really is the best way to describe The Binding of Isaac. Completely different. The Binding of Isaac is a shooter roguelike where you play as Isaac, a boy whose religious zealot mother tries to kill him because God told her to. You find a secret door to your basement and begin your descent, escaping your mom but finding a whole host of new problems. Biblical allusions aside, that's a pretty bare-bones setup for a game, but the game makes it work by weaving it into every aspect of play. For instance, you defend yourself by shooting your own tears at enemies, and you improve your character by picking up things like a coat hanger that you stick into your own head, or a bag of dog food that you eat for nourishment. While not all that subtle, the symbolism is more than enough to get across themes of child abuse and its effect on children. While a radical departure from the similarly, yet not the same level of disturbing Super Meat Boy, this story is definitely refreshing. Well, it's refreshing in a rotten, probably smells kind of way. That might seem like a strange thing to say, but play this game for 5 minutes and you'll understand the ripe, gut-wrenching smell that The Binding of Isaac emanates. This is a smell that doesn't send to you through some kind of weird scratch and sniff system, but rather through its art design. Besides the previously mentioned power-ups, the entire world is fleshed out in a gross, very literal way. By the time you've cleared out one of the game's randomly generated rooms, it'll be covered in blood, feces, and tears. Everything oozes, the walls, Isaac, and the enemies. On the subject of the enemies, what the fuck is Edmund McMillen on? Throughout the course of the game, you'll fight flies, slugs, zombie fetuses with heads full of flies, the 7 deadly sins, Satan, your own mother, and various other sacks of awfulness, so gut-wrenchingly gross that they give Silent Hill 2 a run for its money. In conclusion, this game smells. On the topic of smelly things, The Binding of Isaac is coated in Flash, with all the bugginess that comes with it. On my modest rig, I encountered a considerable amount of slowdown and clipping issues, which is unacceptable for a 2D shooter game. What's sad about this is that it can get in the way of what is otherwise quite wonderful gameplay. The game was built so that the shooting, samey as it can get, really accents the power-ups and makes you feel awesome when you've upgraded your character to the point where you're kind of a badass. This feeling of accomplishment and attachment to your character also adds to the game's permadeath feature, because you really won't want to die and go back to your slightly lame normal self. Notice the use of the word want in the last sentence. You won't want to die, but you will. You will die a lot. You'll die a ton. You'll die a shitload, and when you do, you'll swear and you'll have a steam coming out of your ears, and you'll think to yourself, this game's dumb, I'm not playing it again. But let's be real here. You will. And you'll love it.